Hello and welcome to your physical education class. My name is Mr. Johnson and I'll be your teacher for the next two marking periods here. We are an every other day class and we're unique in that because the vast majority of you are in the band, orchestra, or one of the choir groups, we will not actually meet physically. We will only ever meet in Zoom, and that'll be on occasion just to kind of check in, see how you're doing for accountability purposes and things like that. So because we're all virtual, I wanted to put together this quick video to talk about the way the course is going to operate and try and answer any questions that you may have. So hopefully you'll check this video out and get all the details. So let's start off by checking out our course syllabus. So the course runs pretty much straightforward, and basically most of you know this already because you've emailed me and asked questions, but we're using the free fitness app called Pacer to record your activity during this course. We're going to dive into a bit more about Pacer momentarily when we get into the Understanding Our Fitness app folder. But Pacer is free. You can get it through the App Store on iPhones or the Google Play Store on Androids, and it's very simple to use. A quick recommendation when you are logging in for the first time and creating a profile. Once you click like start tracking or whatever the specific wording is, it's going to bring up a screen and it'll ask you for some personal information like your birthday and stuff like that. Just skip that. In the top right corner, you'll see it says skip. Tap that and you don't have to worry about entering any of that information. When you're using, or rather when you're creating your username, you can use any email address you want. You can use your BASD account if you want. You can use a personal one. It doesn't matter. I don't see that. The only thing I see is the username that you create. Please make sure that your username is actually your name. And what I recommend is that you put either your last name, first initial, kind of like your BASD address, or just your full name. If you only put your first name, there's a good chance that someone else may have your first name. And if I have two Brians in the class, it's going to be challenging for me to figure out who is who. And, we'll need to address that. So just make sure it's unique enough that I can figure out that it is you. So when I verify your steps, it's easy for me to do. If you do not have a cell phone, you're going to be responsible for completing a series of written assignments in place of regular physical activity. So just let me know as soon as possible so I can get you set up. Some students have emailed me and asked if they have a Fitbit or a Garmin or something like that. If that is also you, shoot me an email and we'll talk about it. We'll see if we can make that work. Please note that you may not substitute outside physical activity, such as sports practice, band practice, things like that, as proof of physical activity unless you're able to keep your phone on you during the activity and track your steps. We have had students that work at grocery stores, for example, and their job is stocking shelves, getting carts, the usual grocery store stuff. So they put their phone in their pocket while they're at work and they get thousands of steps during their shift. And that's awesome. Those steps count. We want you to be active and we just need verifiable proof that you're active. So if you can have your phone on you during practice, great. If you're in the band and you guys are, working on parade, probably not in the near future here, but maybe as we get back into the spring, because our class runs until the end of the year, maybe you're outside moving around again, get your phone in your pocket and get those steps. What I cannot accept is, oh, Mr. Johnson, I was at swim practice last night and I exercised for an hour. Like, that's great, but there's no proof. So please keep that in mind. For grading, a few important items. Your grade is a direct decimal of the number of steps you take each day according to Pacer. So if you walk 8,674 steps, your grade is an 8.6 out of 10. If you walk 4,356 steps, your score is a 4.3 out of 10. It's not possible to get higher than a 10 out of 10. So if you get 22,000 or 16,000 steps, that's fantastic, but your score is still 10 out of 10. You're going to take screenshots of Pacer, and again, we'll look at that in the Understanding Our Fitness app folder. And you can use any day from the previous week. So each week, everything is due by Friday. So this first week obviously has been a little wonky. Today is February 3rd. We've had 2 snow days in a row thanks to Snowmageddon outside. We haven't really been able to have a normal routine. But anyway, this week, since the marking period started on Monday and things are due by Friday, you only have 5 days to submit your 2 submissions. But Starting Saturday, this coming Saturday, you can use Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or even Friday to just get your 2 highest days and get them submitted. Okay, so you have 7 days to pick the 2 highest. Just make sure you have both of these things submitted by Friday at 2:30 p.m. of each week. Now, the number of submissions for you is fairly standard. You're pretty much always just going to have 2 submissions per week, regardless of the number of days we have of school each week. It'll pretty much always be 2 because it's an every other day. There could be some weeks where I have 3, but I'm just going to keep it at 2. And that way, even if we have a shortened week, you'll know it's always going to be 2 submissions. So again, if you're unable to complete PACER submissions due to medical issues or tech, just let me know as soon as possible so we can get you set up with some alternatives. Okay, so that's our syllabus. Moving on to understanding our fitness app. Inside this folder, there's some really good things. First, your step-by-step directions on getting PACER, what you need to do. So first, these are what the icons look like in the app stores, respectively. Download the app, install the app, create a profile using the tips I talked about a couple minutes ago. This talks a little bit more about the grading, but what's most important here, and you'll see this again, this is the screenshot I need. It has all the important information in the top right corner with the arrow pointing to it. That's the calendar showing the date that you're submitting. I need the total number of steps on that date, and then this information is helpful as well, the calories burned, active time, and mileage. But really what I'm concerned with is this, 7892, the number of steps you took. Now, why do we have an arrow pointing to the calendar? It's very simple. Let's say you're active today and you get out and you get a whole bunch of steps and you're really excited and you want to take a screenshot, but you forget. It happens. It becomes the next morning, you pull up your phone and you see that PACER has automatically shifted to the next day and all those steps have disappeared. In a brief moment of panic, you think you lost them, but fear not. If you click on that calendar icon, it brings up every day that you've had the app. And all you need to do is tap the day you want, and it'll bring up this exact screen right here for that day. So it's a very, very helpful tool if, let's say, you just want to wait until Thursday of each week and then pick your top 2 days. You can just use that calendar icon to pick those 2 days. They even show a pretty cool little graph in the calendar that shows how close you got to your goal of 10,000 steps each day. So if you look and you see 2 complete circles, that means those 2 days you hit 10,000 steps. Could make things very, very easy for you. All right, so that's a little bit more about that. Here's another sample of the screenshot. Again, there's the calendar icon. We've really pointed that out because a lot of kids panic because they think they lose the steps, but that's not the case. It's there for you. Last but not least, and this is very important because I already have some submissions in the course, which is fantastic, but not many of you have joined our course group. You've got to scan this QR code right here on this page using your phone and get in our course group. This is essential to receiving credit because by joining our course group, it allows me to verify your activity. There are ways to manipulate the number of steps. That's just how it is with technology. There's always ways to cheat. By following the course group and joining the course group, I can verify that you're not cheating because I can see exactly what PACER records for the day compared to what you may try and manually add. So it's very, very important that you join our group. If you do not join the group, you will not receive credit for any submissions. Special note to iPhone users, if you have a difficult time, you're scanning the QR code and it just keeps taking you to either the App Store or it just takes you into the app, just keep trying. I don't know what it is about iPhones, but they really struggle with this particular QR code. It's happened every marking period with every teacher that's used PACER so far. We don't know why, it's just an Apple thing, but keep trying. You will get in eventually. Android users, you should not have a problem. The only thing you need to figure out is simply how to scan the QR code because every Android phone is a little bit different. Samsungs operate differently than Motorola's, which operate differently than Google Pixels, and et cetera, et cetera. So just scan this as soon as possible so you can get in the group and start receiving credit for your submissions. Regarding receiving credit, I highly encourage you to always check your submissions. Always check them and look to make sure you get the credit that you think you should have received. For example, if you're submitting 8,300 steps, you know that your grade is going to be an 8.3 out of 10. Check it to make sure it is an 8.3 out of 10, because if it's a 0, I will have feedback that outlines why it's a 0. It could be as simple as you cut off the date in your screenshot and I couldn't see it. Perhaps you submitted the same day twice, which happens accidentally. Or perhaps you tried to manipulate the steps and you need to meet with me virtually or even at Liberty to clarify and see what happened during that day. That's your responsibility, and you need to get it taken care of as soon as possible. If you wait several weeks and then come back and say, Mr. Johnson, I just noticed I got a 0 on this, and I don't know why, it's going to stay a 0. So you need to make sure you are being responsible and proactive in monitoring your grades. I can't reach out to every single student that does something wrong every single time. So please, check it, be on top of things. I don't suspect we'll have any issues, but it's just putting it out there so there are no misunderstandings. Last but not least here, there may come a time where you're unable to get outside. For example, these past few days, it would be difficult to get outside. Now, the beauty of using Pacer is that you don't have to get outside. You can simply walk around your house if you wanted to. If you want to go outside and walk, that's great. You go to work and walk around there, that's great too. But maybe you get quarantined, or maybe we have days like these past few where, you're snowed in. We want to make sure you can still get your steps. So we created this folder that is chock full of exercise videos you can do right from the comfort of your bedroom or wherever you're at. You don't need a lot of space to do it, and you can get a pretty good number of steps. In fact, we even broke it down by the duration of video and the number of steps that people have gotten. We all tested these videos as a department, and we basically noted how many steps we got at the end of each video. So on average, if you did this 30-minute hip-hop fit workout, you would get 3,000 to 4,000 steps in 30 minutes, which is great. If you did that twice, you'd be at an 80 for the day, which is awesome. Some kids have asked, why 10,000 steps? What's the math behind that? Pretty straightforward. The average person takes 5,000 steps in a day, so that's just normally living, walking around, doing your activities of daily living. The goal in phys ed, however, is to be more active than just normal. If you had phys ed in marking period 1 or in the back end of last year, we used a different app called Strava, and our goal was to move 2 miles. That was always our goal. 2 miles is 5,000 steps. So 5,000 plus 5,000 equals our 10,000 step goal. So these videos are there to help you. There's a bunch of them. There's walking videos, there's the exercise videos I just showed you, there's YMCA fitness videos, and then we even link to the Body Project YouTube channel. Some of those will not have the number of steps because there's just so many videos and it's on YouTube, which we can't edit, but you can still get a lot of steps. So if you're quarantined, if the weather's bad, these are an excellent option to make sure you can still get your steps and get your assignments submitted. So overall, I'm really looking forward to having you all in the class. As I said, we'll be together for the rest of the year. Each week you'll see a new folder unpublished. You can't see most of these yet because we haven't hit those weeks. Just pop into the weekly folder, check out the number of submissions you've got to do for the week, and then get them submitted. Submit the screenshot in each of these sections. If you have the Schoology app, this process is very simple. You take your screenshot on your phone, you open the assignment through the app, and you just pull the picture over from your camera roll. It takes about 10 seconds. If you don't have the Schoology app, it's a bit more cumbersome. You gotta email the picture to yourself and then pull it in as an attachment. But again, nothing too challenging, pretty straightforward. If you have any questions about anything that I maybe talked about in this video or something that I didn't talk about in the video and you need clarification, feel free to reach out. You can email me either through Schoology or directly through the BASD account at djohnson@basdschools.org. Thank you and have a great day.